What is the good for Callicles? You've just read it. You've just read it. It just hasn't
Following your desires.
Following your desires.
Okay.
Okay. Who is the guy that...
I had been raised in a house where we were really poor, and I had young alcoholic parents, and it wasn't exactly the best situation to be raised in. And I grew up with very established limits of where I could get to in my world, and I wanted a better life, but it wasn't going to go very far. For me, a better life was, you know, having enough money and having enough food for my child. And I never thought that there was the opportunity for personal growth or to become something more. There wasn't really that door there. I had very limiting beliefs.
I grew up really poor, and so that's kind of been something that defined me as a person until now, and maybe until like the last year or two of my life. I have just thought of myself as, look at how well I'm doing even though I'm poor.
There's a very specific philosophical mistake that he thinks that Socrates has foisted on Polis, knowingly has foisted on
I
him.
remember...
When I started the class, it seemed hugely overwhelming. I wasn't sure how I was going to do all of the work on top of everything else that I was doing in real life.
A lot of people that are lower income or in poverty or, you know, not haven't been educationally based in their lives are afraid to go to classes, and this is a reachable way to bridge that.
Yeah.
We don't have an objective place to go and look at our reality. It's limited to our perceptions. Very hard to start thinking again after decades of not thinking, and Clemente does everything they can to make it easier for you to come in off the street and learn how to listen again and basically learn how to function again.
Afterwards, I just couldn't stop thinking about how that felt and how that had changed my outlook on life, and so I took the next necessary steps, and like I said, now I'm going to real live adult college classes. It makes me feel like a big dork, but at the same time, oh my gosh, I am just eating it up with a spoon. It's so delicious. I love learning.
The Socratic method that the teachers use made me feel very empowered about just becoming self-motivated to learn, and having the teachers really be interested in what I was getting out of the different subjects and the different assignments was just so different than my experience throughout public school.
Our question was, what did the writers of the Declaration believe the purpose of government to be? And we found that...
I'm 46 years old. High school dropout. I don't know if I can do this.
Sure you can, here. Yeah.
Had kids young, did things I regret. I would try to accomplish many things, but wouldn't follow through. I have been told I am ambivalent and an underachiever. I want to thank God and all the supporters, the staff, and my fellow students for giving me this opportunity to help me accomplish something I've been waiting for my whole life.
Clemente opened the door to a whole world that I didn't know existed, and we got into the philosophy and got into the writing, and I realized that it was something that I did really enjoy and that I could do, and that I could discuss these huge concepts that I had never even approached before. That changed those limiting beliefs completely.
It reminded me that I have a brain and it's okay to use it, and it's not just about 9 to 5. It's also about what happens next and what happened in the past and what can I make happen. And so I guess for me, Clemente was a stepping stone to finding myself, but also finding my place in the world around me.
Before I took the Clemente, my definition of making it in America is speak good English, get a good job, and, you know, kind of fit in.
Once I started looking at U.S. history, and especially it came out for me in history of art. I could see that there's a much bigger pattern going on, and it wasn't so simple. It wasn't so simple to just say it was, you know, the government's fault or that it's the fault of capitalism. There's a much bigger picture going on, and it helped me to not be so stuck in my own ism and to be able to relate to others who have different, you know, different experience of life.
I think taking a Clemente really changed me to help me to feel, to find my place in the community. Yeah.
I suddenly realized that I could do whatever I put my mind to. If I wanted to go to school, I could do that. I became not stuck in that lifestyle that I thought that I was going to be stuck in, and that did have a huge impact also on my family, because it let me with my son, I allowed him to believe that there were options.
If I wasn't given the opportunity to take a free course at that point, I wouldn't have been in school at all, and I wouldn't have gone back to school at all. So that opportunity is so fantastic.
A lot of programs for people in poverty and people in the margins are based on deficits. They're based on what people need. They're based on what's missing in people's lives. Clemente is all about assets. It's all about what's going on in your life, what you have to offer, what your juice is, what your passion is, what do you want to change, what do you want to make different. And it really speaks to people's desire to make their lives good.
At this point, he speaks multiple languages and is just this amazing child that, you know, believes that he can go and be a linguistic professor and go somewhere with his life. And I didn't even know what that was before the class, before opening that door.
Unlike before, I am self-efficient and independent, and I have my own place, my own life. I don't depend on anyone anymore. So, yeah, of course it changed me.
Now the students stand up, turn around.